End of this quiet suburban cul-de-sac in a suburb of Vancouver, you'll find the Great Wall of Coquitlam. Built nearly 30 years ago, this controversial eyesore has become the subject of an infamous local property dispute. You might think you can't fight City Hall, but it really just depends on how far you're willing to go. Here are the facts. A prominent Port Moody land developer and lawyer and his wife have owned the property since the early 1970s, when the area was mostly undeveloped. In the 1980s, Coquitlam adopted its official community plan and designated the area as single-family residential. The taxes on the property increased when the new assessment reflected its highest and best use. The city began to develop the street system that would service it and the nearby properties, as the process of suburban development got underway. In protest to the development, the property owners built the concrete wall surrounding the entire property, which infamously bisects Caliente Place, rendering it barely wide enough for a single car. The whole situation seems unneighborly at best, and childish, petty, and privileged at worst. Now, before I get to my interpretation of this situation, we need to talk about the importance of this property to the development of Coquitlam. The 20-acre parcel was a very good speculative acquisition in the late 1960s and early 70s. Despite its low value and lack of any servicing, a keen investor with intimate knowledge of local development would be attracted to it because of its proximity to the future Coquitlam town centre, the provincial government's investment in the Burke Mountain area, and an arterial transportation corridor tying the two together. The property is adjacent to the anticipated corridor for the David Path and Connector, an east-west transportation corridor that had been anticipated for years. Major highway and even monorail and rapid transit had been conceptualized for the route, meaning the empty parcel could one day be worth a lot more. I'm going to speculate wildly here. I don't think the couple intended to build their dream home on this property. If it were up to them, I'm sure they would have preferred the city zone it as commercial or multifamily, thereby increasing their profit potential immensely. The reason the couple built this home that they never intended to live in, on this parcel that the city designated could hold a lot more homes than just one, is because they wanted to pay less taxes. They wanted to pay lower taxes, hold on to the property for longer, subdivide it later when demand was higher and they could get more money for it. It's just that most people don't have the time, money, or knowledge of the system in order to fight their battle with the city in this manner. Pieces of the Great Wall had started to come down in the early 2000s for the new David Avenue arterial crossing the Coquitlam River. Whether deliberately or coincidentally, the local government seemed to be slowly destroying the site's profit potential with low density and public uses, but that's the risk of gambling on real estate. And just last year, the most visible manifestation of the dispute, the wall down the middle of Caliente Place, was finally removed. The impractical, unfinished building is now exposed and vulnerable, and the development that was put on pause for 30 years seems to have resumed.
Sprague's family has had a long-running dispute with the city of Coquitlam regarding the new David Pathan and over whose land it sits on. And I think, it has been said that, or found that it actually sits on the Sprague's land. And I think that there is a frustration amongst people that the Section 32 does not allow them the recourse that they feel they should have.